Olive, the Other Reindeer. Every day, Olive took her daily doggy walk, winter, spring, summer, or fall. Today was a winter's day. It was the holidays. There was music playing outdoors. People were singing along, "All of the other reindeer." Olive was too shy to sing. She hummed. Back at her doggy house, Olive was wrapping presents and listening to the radio. She heard that same song again. "All of the other reindeer," went the song. "Olive, the other reindeer," Olive sang along. "Olive, the reindeer," said Olive. "I thought I was a doggie. I must be a reindeer." It was that time of year when all reindeer reported to the North Pole to help Santa Claus. Olive put down her scissors carefully and marched out the door. Olive had no problems at all reaching the North Pole. She took one bus by land and 2 ships by sea, and she got there just in time. When she arrived, Santa had already made his list and was in the process of checking it for the second time. Little green elves were busy helping all the large brown reindeer load the sleigh with presents for all of the good girls and boys. Everyone was getting ready for their extraordinary journey. Olive grabbed a reindeer collar laying nearby, placed it around her neck, and took her place in line among all the other reindeer. A few of the reindeer thought it odd to see a small doggie amidst their ranks, but a friendly sniffing made it clear that she only wanted to help. After his final list preparations were complete, Santa turned his attention to the sleigh and his reindeer. Santa noticed that there was a little doggie in his lineup. Now, Santa had been around for quite some time, and he knew a lot of things, including a lot about dogs. For instance, they can't fly. But Santa had an open spot on his team this year. Not 2 hours before, Rudolph, the nasally empowered reindeer with his shiny red nose, had come down low sick. And Mrs. Claus refused to let him go out in the cold, not feeling his best. As it was time to go, and seeing the excited doggy smile on the little pup before him, he decided to give Olive a chance. Comet, the biggest reindeer of all, used an extra piece of ribbon to make sure Olive was tied in safe and tight. Now they were ready to go, and with a few brief words from Santa christening their journey, they were on their way, whooshing over trees and high into the night sky. Olive, securely tied in by the ribbon, was surprised that it was so easy to fly. The other reindeer were very curious about their new doggy friend. They smiled and cheered with Olive so much they weren't watching where they were going. Smack! They flew right into the top of a too-tall tree. "Oh no," said Santa. "My sleigh is stuck in this tree. I'll have to find some way to cut it free." Olive clung to the side of the tree. She tried to fly up to help Santa, but she could not. Olive started climbing up slowly and chewing at the branches. Chewing up sticks was something all doggies could do very well. At last, the interfering branches were chewed away and the sleigh was free. "Thank you, Olive," said Santa Claus as they got back on their way. They had not traveled far when Olive's nose began to twitch. Olive smelled trouble. It was the smell of gumdrop candies as they fell from the sleigh. Olive seemed to be the only one who noticed. She quickly sounded out an ancient canine warning to get Santa's attention. "Aroo! Aroo!" Santa saw the problem and immediately knew what to do. He steered the reindeer down and around so that all of the gumdrops fell right back into the toy sack. We were lucky not to lose a single gumdrop, thought Olive, when all at once she heard a high-pitched noise only doggies could hear, and it sounded like Olive spun around on her string to see the night sky was filled with falling flutes. Olive gasped. She had to aroo loud enough to be heard over the whistling flutes. Falling flutes was not music to Santa's ears. First gumdrops and now flutes, thought Santa. That tree must have torn a hole in my sled. Prepare for an emergency landing, Santa instructed. The sleigh landed in the snowy field full of flutes. Luckily, Olive was very good at fetching sticks. It is something all doggies love to do. Before Santa had finished patching the hole in the sleigh, Olive had returned with each and every flute back into the sack. "Ho, ho, ho! Nice work, Olive," said Santa. "We're ready to go." They were running late, but before too long, all the good children received their presents, and Santa and his team started to head for home. They were getting way on toward Santaland when they got caught in the dreaded North Pole fog. The reindeer slowed down until it was only just the breeze that moved them along. The fog was thick as a pillow, and with Rudolph sick in bed this year, Santa had no means of lighting their way home. Just then, Santa remembered something else about doggies. They are excellent sniffers. "Olive, I'd hate to be late for breakfast this year," said Santa. "Mrs. Claus has planned a parade of cookies. You can't smell them out for us, can you?" Olive sniffed a doggy sniff. Olive could smell the cookies. "Olive, won't you guide my sleigh this morning?" asked Santa. Olive moved to the front of the reindeer, and thanks to her nose and Mrs. Claus' baking, they made it back all the way to the North Pole. The elves let out a big cheer. "Hooray! Hooray! Santa and the reindeer and the little doggie are back!" Back at the North Pole, it was a glorious morning. After eating lots of good and yummy food, it was time to open presents. The reindeer received jump ropes, and the elves got little toy trains. Santa called Olive over and reached way down into his toy sack. There was just one present left. It was for Olive. Santa pulled it out of his sack and plopped it right down on the little doggie's head. It was her very own set of reindeer antlers. They fit perfectly. With the morning festivities at an end, everyone went outside to play reindeer games. The end.